जय श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ की, जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मई की, जय श्री श्री गौर निताई की, जय शिला प्रभुपाद की, शिला गुरुदेव की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नाष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So today we will be discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 15, verse 22. Pritur uvacha Bo suta he magada saumya vandil. Bo suta he magada saumya vandil. लोके अधुनाश्चस्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात्। लोके अधुनास्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात्। किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यतम्। किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यतम्। मामयि आभुवान् वितथा गिरो वा। मामयि आभुवान् वितथा गिरो वा। पृथ्रुर्उवाच वो सुत हे मागध सौम्यं वान्दिल्। लोके अधुनास्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात्। किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यताम्। मामयि आभुवान् वितथा गिरो वा। पृथ्रु उवाच वो सुत हे मागध सौम्य वान्दिल्। लोके अधुनास्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात्। किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यताम्। मामयि आभुवान् वितथो गिरो वा। पृथ्रुवाच वो सुत हे मागध सौम्य वान्दिल्। लोके अधुनास्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात्। किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यताम्। मामयि आभुवान् वितथो गिरो वा। पृथ्रुवाच वो सुत हे मागध सौम्य वान्दिल्। लोके अधुनास्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात्। किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यताम्। मामयि आभुवान् वितथा गिरो वा। पृथुवाच वो सुत हे मगध सौम्य वान्दिल्। लोके अधुना स्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात् किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यताम् मामय्या भुवान् विततो गिरो वा पितृवाच वोसुता हे मगध सौम्य वान्दिल लोके अधुना स्पष्टगुणस्य मे स्यात् किम् आश्रयो मे स्तव एष योग्यताम् मामय्या भुवान् वितता गिरो वा. Thank you. Pritruvacha. King Prithu said, Bo Suta, O Suta, he Mahagadha, O Magadha, Saumya, gentle, Vanadin, O devotee offering prayers, Loke, in this world, Aduna, just now, Aspasta, not distinct, Gunasya, whose qualities, may, of me, Syat, there may be, Kim, why, Ashraya, shelter, me, of me, Syaha, praise, Ishaha, this, Yogyatam, may be applied, Ma, never, Mai, unto me, Abhuvan, where, Vitataha, in vain, Gira, words, Va, your. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Prithu said, O gentle Sutta, Magadha, and other devotees offering prayers, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it is better they be offered to someone else. Purport. The prayers and praises by the Sutta, Magadha and Vandal all explain the godly qualities of Maharaj Prithu, for he was a Satyavesha incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the qualities were not yet manifest, however, King Prithu very humbly asked why the devotees should praise him with such exalted words. He did not want anyone to offer him prayers to glorify him unless he possessed the real qualities of which they spoke. The offering of prayers was certainly appropriate, for he was an incarnation of Godhead, but he warned that one should not be accepted as an incarnation of the personality of Godhead without having the godly qualities. At the present moment, there are so many so-called incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but these are merely fools and rascals whom people accept as incarnations of God, although they have no godly qualities. King Prithu desired that his real characteristics in the future might justify such words of praise. Although there was no fault in the prayers offered, Prithu Maharaj indicated that such prayers should not be offered to an unfit person who pretends to be an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are coming to the end of chapter 15. So let's have a quick recap for the benefit of myself, to understand better. So we are discussing about the appearance and the coronation of King Prithu. We see the when the chapter begins, we see that the sages have churned the hands of King Vena, and what did they see? A male and a female, Prithu and Archie appear. And the learned sages were very pleased to see the couple. They understood that the empowered expansion of Lord Vishnu has appeared. The sages start speaking about Prithu and Archie. So who is Prithu? The sages say that the Prithu is none other than the plenary expansion of Vishnu, who has come to maintain the world, who has also come to protect the devotees. And the female Archie was explained as the plenary expansion of Sri Lakshmi herself, and who never separates from the Lord. And they also explain that she is a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who has come to be the queen of King Prithu. And in the start we see that the Brahmanas, the Gandharvas, the Siddhas and Apsaras sing King Prithu's prayers, glorify. Just as soon as they appear, we see praises sung to them. And then Lord Brahma appears, he brings all the demigods. And then what happens in the next few verses? The coronation of King Prithu happens. The Brahmanas again engage in setting up the paraphernalia for the ceremony. And who comes with the gifts? All the hills, the mountains, the oceans, the seas, the birds, all living entities collect various type of gifts to offer the king. And to name a few examples of what was offered to the king, Kuvera offered a golden royal throne, Vishwakarma offered a beautiful chariot, and Lord Hari offers a Sudarshan Chakra, Mother Bhumi offers magic slippers, which actually can take one person from one place to another just by their desire. The demigods shower flowers again and again. So this was a very beautiful setup. The ceremony is happening, the poets glorifying the king. But what does today's verse say about King Prithu? What does he do? So after the king observing the poets like Sutta, Magadha and Mandi praise him, the powerful king starts speaking as follows. This is the first statement that he utters. I am reading the translation again. King Prithu said, O gentle Sutta, Magadha and other devotees offering prayers, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it is better that they be offered to someone else. So here we see Prithu Maharaj being very humble. He is saying to the poets, don't let these words go in vain, because I have still not expressed all these qualities. So let it be for those who are really suitable, who are really praiseworthy. So even though he understands that he is a plenary expansion of Lord Vishnu, he has still not manifested those godly qualities. So he is not feeling worthy of all their praises. So he very humbly rejects or disqualifies them. He's just appeared from the body of Vena, we can see that. And we'll be discussing more today on these godly and specifically this godly quality which King Prithu is expressing, which is being humble. Why is it humility very important for a devotee? Because this quality is very much glorified, right, amongst devotees. Why is it very glorified, very much glorified? Why do we need humility? It helps us from being too proud. What happens if we become proud? We might offend somebody. What happens if we offend somebody? Sorry? Exactly. So that's today's verse. You gave me all the summary of today's verse. So I think like I'm feeling like you've already learned this verse and you're supposed to be here. So that's the essence, right? So what happens when we get puffed up? We start offending devotees. We think we are greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are greater than His devotees. And we start offending left, right and center. And what happens when devotee gets offended, or when Krishna sees us offending devotees? Krishna gets upset, right? So that's basically today's verse. Thank you, Prabhu. Because I am sitting in I'm sitting in the asana, I have to fulfill the needs, right? So I'll explain in detail, right? So what is humility basically? So today we'll be discussing on what is humility, how to obtain humility, and why it's important. Prabhu actually summarized why it's important. So we'll discuss more on what is humility. So what is humility? Daily we've been reading Shikshashtakam, right? So from there we learn the verse Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtanya Sadaheri. What does it mean? One should consider oneself as lower than the straw in the street, devoid of all sense of false prestige. One should consider oneself more tolerant therein, offering all respects to others and not accepting anything in return. So this is like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers a necklace to us and tells us like this is how a devotee should be. Example that we see in today's verse is Prithu Maharaj being a plenary expansion. He is acting as a devotee, he is being the representative of Krishna, and he is exemplifying this quality. Opposite to what King Vena did, what did he do? He was so puffed up, he almost declared that he is equal to Krishna and he is against being humble. Again, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives nice comments on humility. He said that we have to be humbler than a blade of grass, which is equal to being worthless, right? So can one accept that one is worthless easily? Do we accept? Very hard, right? It seems that we have to think about ourselves as a worthless person, then we can understand spirituality much better. Basically, only when we understand that we are worthless, then we can progress spiritually. How do we understand that? See, day in and day out, material nature is acting upon us. We are growing old. Are we able to stop it? Do we have any control on we growing old? Can we for some time say, okay, let me go back for 5 years back, let me grow younger? Not possible. Are we able to stop from us getting any disease? Not possible. Are we able to stop us from dying? Can we stop death? We are going to die and we are going to be born again and again unless we remember Krishna at the time of death. So that is why we are asked to remember Krishna at the time of death. So all this tells us that we have very little control on what we are doing day in and day out. And how do we consider so worthful? How can we consider so much worthy? So that's why scriptures teaches us to understand how worthless we are. It is important. We have to come to a conclusion that we are like a walnut, like that we are bound in this material world. We should think, walnut is inside that tough coating, that nut. So we are bound like that in this material world. So it is not even possible to move even a pin without God sanctioning it. Do we agree? Only if He sanctions, we might have the desire to do a lot of things, but only when He sanctions it, then we are able to do the activity. So that is where we need that surrender. So how do we learn about worthlessness? If one is inclined to hear about the praises of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the lotus lips of one's Guru, then it seems we'd be able to understand how worthless we are. If we understand how worthless we are, then what happens? Humility comes. We'll learn the art of being humble. Then we are able to chant the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, properly. And once we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then we are able to serve better. So it is very important that we give importance to the sound vibrations that is coming from the Guru. And hence, during initiation, what they do, a Guru gives the Maha Mantra, the sound vibrations in our ears, and from then on we start chanting. Because we are in disciplic succession, actually the sound vibrations are coming from Krishna and we are recipients of the sound vibrations. It is said that Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama evalam kalo nashteva, nashteva, nashteva gatara anyata. So this is the Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma is the sound vibration. So that sound vibration we have to learn from the Guru and Krishna. So when we are convinced about the sound vibrations, we can chant Hare Krishna very well. Then we can understand how worthless we are, what our actual situation is. It will have an effect when we are convinced and when we put it into practice. Not just because we are chanting Hare Krishna, not just because we have the godly qualities that we are able to do some service. It is only because of the sound vibrations that is coming from the Guru, which originally is coming from Krishna, we are able to act upon it. We are able to do something. Do you think if so many tasks are being done by our spiritual masters or by many devotees, right? Some tasks, like yesterday Maharaj was mentioning, there are some tasks which are impossible. But because of the dependency on Guru and Krishna, we are given those tasks to accomplish. And we are sometimes able to do that. Who would think Srimad Bhagavatam would go in thousands around the world? But devotees accomplished it, right? When the time we started, distributing a Bhagavad Gita was a big deal. Now Srimad Bhagavatam is going in sets and thousands. Like, that's an impossible task. It's only because of mercy of Guru and Krishna one is able to accomplish such mammoth tasks. Who would think such big TOVP would come in Mayapur? It is happening, right? All that hopes and wishes of great devotees are coming into practice, and we can see it. And what is accomplishing all of these tasks? The sound vibrations, which is coming from Guru and Krishna. We can see that Rupa Goswami or Jiva Goswami says the same thing. Like, they are saying, like, we are worshipping the deities, but if we don't worship the devotee who's worshipping the deities, then it is of whatever we are doing is of no use. So it is basically very important. Like, as one would be all their life one will be doing puja, offering their prayers to the deities very sincerely, very expertly. But if one is not giving the same importance to the devotees who are serving the Lord, then all the pujas become worthless. Because why? It's just like somebody coming to me and saying, Vraja, I like you, but I don't like your kid because they're bossy, because they're very, jealous. I'll feel upset, right? So similarly, if we go to Krishna and we say, Krishna, I like you, but I don't like him or her because of such and such thing, Krishna will also feel bad, because Krishna has invested him in everyone. We don't know how much Krishna has invested in any devotee. So if we offend any devotee, Krishna gets upset. So we have to be very careful in such dealings. So that's why it's very important that we have to be careful in our dealings, especially with devotees when we are doing devotional service. We should be prepared to sweep away these desires which in our hearts through rough application. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says that through rough application we have to get these desires out of our heart. What does that mean? Rough application. Let's say like we have a desire that I want to be glorified. King Prithu says, I don't want to be glorified. But all of us want to be glorified. We want, not only that we want to be glorified, we want to be said that I am better than some devotee. I am better than the greatest of the great devotee. That's the desire. Somewhere or the other, it is there, right? If we touch our hearts and see, and if we identify, if we think what our desires are, somewhere in our hearts, it is somewhere there that we have this desire to be glorified. We want to be shown as better than other people. It seems, but that is a wicked desire. How can that wicked desire be removed? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, by rough application. People coming from India might have known about broomsticks. How is that made? From a coconut tree, they cut off a branch, they remove the leaves, and the thin, strong stem, it's called the midrib. They remove the soft part, which is greener, and they keep all the yellow sticks. And on combining all the sticks, it becomes a broom, right? So rough application. First, yes, we make a bunch of that broomsticks. We start sweeping. Little bit of dirt goes away, right? But there are some dust which sticks very hard to the floor. What do we do in that case? Okay, we put the broomstick, like the bunch of sticks, put our feet, and then put pressure to remove the dirt. Then what happens? Little bit of dirt, yes, comes out. But still, if there are more dirt, what do we do? Third rough application needs to be done. Catch the tip of that stick, sit down on your hands and feet, and kneel down, and then start rubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing until all the dirt comes out. That is called rough application, it seems. So much we have accumulated over so many births. So if that dirt has to come out, we have to do that sort of scrubbing, that sort of rough application. So that is what we've been taught. So by the process of chanting, this is what happens. Well, if one sincerely chants, it is like first application. If one chants very, very, very sincerely, then the second rough application happens. If one chants really, sticking to all the rules and regulations, not offending anybody, and then following, then the third rough application happens. So that's why the process of chanting is so important, and one needs to have a guru to impart that sound vibration to us. Then it will get the dust off our heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chaitano Darpana Marjanam Bhava Maha. So it is Gundicha Marjanam, basically. Getting the dust off our heart, cleansing of our heart happens to this rough application. So what happens when our heart gets cleansed? Prabhu said that we'll be able to please the Lord, we'll be able to serve better, and we'll be able to obtain the gift of performing the devotional service to the Lord. Well, Prabhupada went to the West. What did the Western, how much piousness did the Western devotees have? They would often tell to Prabhupada, we don't have any piety. But Prabhupada said, you have taken up to the process of chanting, and see, now you are able to do devotional service. those who have done pious activities since many, many births have not obtained this devotional service, but you have obtained. Why? It is because of the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we must be very grateful for having got this opportunity to chant this Maha Mantra. Prabhupada had come to give away this Maha Mantra by taking so much austerities in the Western world. Right? So if you've not been chanting before, please take up the process of chanting. It's very nourishing to your soul. So like this, many acharyas have told to take up the process of chanting and lead a very peaceful life. Actually, while thinking of this verse, I was actually recollecting what happened in our yatra when we went to Jagannath Puri before going to Mayapur. So we had the desire to see Jagannath very quickly. So we landed there, reached Puri. On the first day, we were like, okay, let's have darshan. Let's go quickly have Jagannath darshan and come. Because we are here, we don't need to contact anybody. Actually, we had a panda arranged, but then we thought, okay, let's go, let's not call him. We thought maybe he's busy or something. We just went. So many different pandas were coming, but we thought, okay, we'll try on our own. What big deal, right? So we went. We saw that there was a long queue. We waited there half an hour, 45 minutes. It was not very crowded, so only half an hour, 45 minutes. So it was 7 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, we were there inside the area to see Jagannath. So much crowd was there. We started getting squished and squashed in the crowd. So many people were shouting and, in that ecstasy to see Lord. But we were like, oh my God, where are we? We were just pushed because of the crowd, and somehow we wanted to escape the crowd, and we came out. Had a little glimpse of Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadrama. Next day we decided, no, we have to call Panda. So then we called Panda immediately. Prabhu was like, why didn't you call me before? Prabhu, we thought you would be busy. Then he was like, okay, tomorrow come at 4:30, we will go have darshan. Yes, Prabhu, surely. And then we got ready at 4 o'clock, 4:30, and then we went the next day. So he came at the right time, he guided us, okay, where to leave the cell phones, how to skip the queue. We skipped the queue, went, there was crowd, but still we felt the protection. We felt like we were taken care, we were assured. I was not worried that the kids are going to get squashed because, because the person, Panda, is there. If there was anything, he gave a shout and then people moved. So we had good darshan. He showed us proper places of where to stand to get darshan of Jagannath, where to stand. So if you stand on the left, then you will have good darshan of Jagannath. If you stand on the right, you will have good darshan of Balaram. Then if you stand in the center, you will have good darshan of Subhadrama. And then finally, in one place, if you go and stand in one vantage point, you will see all three of them very nicely. So, because he guided us, we had good darshan of Jagannath, we felt secure, and we came out very safely. Second day over, okay. Third day, we wanted to have darshan again. Don't miss the point. We have to take the guide, right? So call the guide. Are you able to come, Prabhu? Can you take us? Yes. He said, come at 4 o'clock. And the third day, it was actually raining very heavily. So Prabhu called and said, do you really want to come? And then we were like, yes, Prabhu, we'll come. So we just went, and then we made an attempt. It was, for us, we want to have darshan. We are there only for 3 days. Let's have darshan. Whether it's raining or not, it's okay. So third day, it was like Jagannath saw the desire in us. Of course, we skipped the queue. We skipped the... this time, we also skipped the crowd. Because it was raining, many people didn't come. So we were like lucky. We knew where the vantage points are. So we saw from different areas. And okay, this first darshan got over. Not many people were there, very easy. We were like, okay, let's take more opportunity. Let's go one more, have one more darshan, because not many people are there. That time the Panda also had left. He first guided us and then he left. So second time when we went around and came to see Jagannath, we got the opportunity to stand in the temple to take darshan for around 15 minutes. Like 2 rounds of japa was over, and nobody actually called to say, hey, move here, move there. No. You want to go to the left? Go. You want to go to the right? You can go. You want to stand in the center? Have darshan? Have darshan. So that was the luxury which Jagannath had actually showered, gave mercy to us to stand and have glance at him. Why I'm telling this pastime is, if you have a guide, if you have a guru, that based on their guidance, if we are going in the spiritual path, you will be well protected. You will have the luxury to reach the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. And hence, many people would say, hey, I know what God is, I don't need a guru. So it is like we are appreciating Krishna, but not his child, who is actually sincerely serving him day in and day out. And that is why the guru is so important. And that is what King Prithu is telling. And today, I don't want to be glorified. Please glorify the actual person with godly qualities. And he is showing us to take a humble mood, so we can chant, so we can do more service and get better. So that's basically it. Thank you all for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. No questions, right? Okay, yeah. For example, Prabhu? Yeah, yeah. So, see, we are servants of Krishna, right? We should have a balance where we are serving the Lord and where we don't get run over as well. So, yes, you're right. We have to understand the mood in which the stronger personality is coming. If the stronger personality is coming to help you do much better service to Krishna, yes, take their point. But if they are coming to just in their puffed up mentality, then try to understand where they are coming, and you can draw their boundaries and tell them, hey, this is not right. I don't feel that whatever you, this is not pleasing, and this is, I'm not feeling nice when you do this to me. So you're not blaming that other person is wrong, but you're still saying how you're feeling. It's still you taking care of yourself, being the servant of Krishna, you're protecting yourself. You're also a disciple of a guru, right? Prabhupada is our guru, and if you're being stabbed upon, Prabhupada will feel hurt. So in order for you to protect Prabhupada being hurt, you have to take care of yourself as well. So don't let anybody stamp over you, if they're coming with the bossy mentality. But if they're coming to help you serve Krishna and Prabhupada better, do it. Who cares? Mummy is coming and scolding the child. It's okay, maybe for some reason. Hare Krishna.